And then once I got that recipe down, that's when I started experimenting with different fruits and spices. So now I do experiments, anywhere from 1 to 5 gallon experiments. And then when they're all completed and ready to go, I absolutely fine tune. So I'm not a scientist. I understand the concept of pH balance and all that. However, I don't measure things. Everything's to taste. It's all intuition. So if I do make a batch and I think it's good and it's something I want to continue to make, I'll figure out what it is about that mead that I don't like, and then I'll add or take away from it. Because I make mead for me, and then I share it with people. I don't make mead for other people. It's not part of my mission statement. So yeah, a lot of experimentation. Yeah,
this is a good thing. Manny's back. Hey, Manny.
Hi, I'm back.
Hey.
Sorry.
Yeah, he had to go do a TV consult. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I had to work.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, work always gets in the way.
I know, right? So unfair.
I remember when I worked full-time, I don't know how the hell I had time to do anything. Now I work part-time, and I still don't have time to do anything.
You see, I work 2 full-time jobs, and I don't have time to do anything at all. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably just more organized about your getting nothing done than I am.
Well, yeah, I would say about the getting nothing done part, yeah, I'm very organized about that. I can spend an entire day on Facebook, no problem. Yeah. Getting something done, that's a whole nother animal. Yeah. Working on that, though. So, Maciej, what... You're like the main dude for the meadery. So are you also handling the business side of things, or is that something that David's doing, or what are you guys doing with that?
So as far as making mead is concerned, production, running the tasting room, I handle that probably 95 to 100% of the time. As far as the business, accounting, stuff like that is concerned, me and David work together with that to make sure everything's lined up and all done properly. And then I also handle some of the, I guess you would call it marketing, social media, stuff like that, with the help of my friend Daniel Marshwinski, who he designs all the bottle labels and everything for us.
Oh, nice.
And helps out with that aspect of it. He designed our website, so...
it's really nice at Arktos. We really do have a lot of people involved, and just doing little things here and there for us, and who just kind of are good friends with Maciej, and we just really want to support what he's doing and help out where they can. So it's quite a fun little community we've got.
It sort of sounds like you guys are dealing more from a kind of have fun at your work sort of business philosophy.
Oh, absolutely. This is what it's all about. I think if I didn't enjoy doing it and it wasn't relaxed like it is, I probably wouldn't be doing it. I had enough of following rules and and doing what people told me when I was in the Navy. So
yeah, my daughter and son-in-law are both in the Army, so yeah, I totally can understand where that would be. I listen to my daughter gripe.
Oh. Feel free to let me know if you guys already asked this, but I always like to ask as many people as I can, especially on the pro end, if you guys are doing any experimentations with blending yeasts. Have you tried any of that stuff?
Blending yeast. I have only ever made one batch blending yeasts. It is a 1 gallon experimentation I did. That's not completed yet. It was mango, kiwi, dragon fruit, Ethiopian honey, and coconut water. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting combination.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, very light in flavor. None of those fruits are specifically potent or anything like that. So it's a very light mead.
Interesting. To see if that one, makes it through your quality control process to end up getting into bottles.
Right.
Dragon mango.
That's the great thing about having the tasting room too. Is that we've got a huge group of people that we have a lot of regulars. We have Growler Club, so a lot of people who come in, a lot, and so we get to put those out, the tasters, the ones that make it through our quality control, and put it out there and just really see, test it in our tasting room before we decide, if it's something that's going to make it to bottles or not. So it's really helpful.
Yeah. I can imagine it'd be very useful having people's input on stuff like that, because you never know whether your tastes are aligned with what's going to sell.
Right.
I was wondering if do you choose your yeast based on the recipe, or have you got a standard favorite yeast that you used for most things?
I do have a standard. I do have a standard yeast I use for most things. I have been experimenting a lot with different beer style yeasts and wine yeasts, just to see how they affect it, as far as flavor and complexity is concerned. As I make more and more experiments, I'm getting more and more curious to how things develop. And so, hopefully I won't ever get bored, and it'll continue to be interesting. Whether that be initially it was, what fruits do what to the meads, and then what spices, and then now it's those smaller things like the style of yeast, or, what kind of water am I using,
Mm-hmm.
It makes the whole process very interesting, and continues my interest in the process of it all.
Okay, so what is your go-to yeast, if you don't mind me asking?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Well, we know Ken's is 7-1B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's probably a proprietary blend, right? And you just don't want to say it.
That's right. It's a yeast I found in the wild of the Amazon that I've been cultivating for generations.
Right next to that orchid, right? Yeah.
Right.
That's so funny. So what's next for you guys? I mean, right now you've got 7 meads out?
Yeah, we have 7 in bottles. Then we have a few tasting room exclusives that so everything I sell in stores right now is still. I have a few carbonated meads and stuff I have on tap that I am working on getting bottle molds before I start releasing them in the stores, and they're going to be Crown Capped and carbonated. And then I have a few hydromels, and then I'm also doing experiments at home with braggots right now. I'm hoping that they taste amazing. We're waiting for the new tasting room location in Grand Rapids before I start my microbrewery licensing process, and then I'll start serving braggots as well. That's
Nice.
something I'm super excited about.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, and you got in Michigan.
You guys-
It's a separate license, right?
It is. Yeah, it's obnoxious. They should
Yeah.
make a mead license and charge twice as much.
Don't give them ideas; they will.
Right?
Yeah, are you guys getting distributed anywhere, let's say near Florida yet, or out of state?
No, I think so. I use Vino Shipper. I think Florida's on that list, but I'm not 100% sure. So I can mail out to Florida through UPS. However, I don't have a distributor outside of the state right now. I'm working on getting a distributor in Colorado and possibly Illinois right now. But first things first is I got to get the rest of Michigan. I'm currently distributed south of Traverse City and then Lansing and west. And then I self-distribute in Traverse City and then the Metro Detroit area.
Yeah,
South of Traverse City is good.
Yeah, near Manistee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as we're looking to open this new tasting room, we're expecting to, really increase our customer base in the Grand Rapids area. A much more central location, and so we really got to start ramping up our production just to, fill the need for the tasting room. Obviously, that comes first, and then, as we ramp up our production and really get a good feel on how much we're going to need for the tasting room, then that's, I think, when we're going to really push to, expand into the other states with certain products.
That makes sense. Excuse me. Just sort of solidify your base at home, and I mean, let's face
Right.
it, Southern Michigan. Well, hell, the entire Lower Peninsula has gone mead crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the craft alcohol. It started with craft beer. moved into the craft, liquors, and now the mead is just exploding, and which is just awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, Michigan seems to be growing into two very important aspects of business in the world, and that is research and drunkenness. So.
Well, no, I hate to say, having grown up in Michigan, and I'm pretty sure I'm older than probably both you guys put together, that the drunkenness part's always been there. Remember, we had GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and there was a lot of reason for drunkenness there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've always been in West Michigan, so that's only recently migrated over.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. Grand Rapids, and all that.
Like Holland.
Oh, Holland! Oh my God, that's even worse. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was within the last 5 to 10 years, some of the last few counties started allowing alcohol and liquor sales on Sundays. So.
Oh goodness. They still don't here. You can get beer now afternoon, but don't even think about getting liquor. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's God's day, and everybody knows God doesn't drink. Jesus notwithstanding. But
Apparently Jesus drives in Florida, because I have drive-through liquor stores that I can go on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, they have brew-throughs at the beach at the coastal cities in North Carolina, but not on Sunday. Because God doesn't do drive-throughs on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe we'll open like the first drive-through tasting room. I think that would be okay, right?
That'd be all right.
That sounds very safe.
Oh no, drinking and driving is an old and venerable institution in Michigan. Trust me when I say that.
It doesn't mean it should be perpetuated, and you know it. Hate to be the mom here, but
yeah, well, somebody had to do it. I'm curious. I noticed, and I've seen a lot of meads out there, and the one thing you don't see a lot of is pumpkin meads. And I saw you guys had a pumpkin mead, and I thought, how interesting. I'm curious how, as much as you're willing to tell us, of course, but, how you got that to be commercially viable, because, I have seen, I don't know how many pumpkin recipes go sideways,
Right.
It's not an easy mead to make, so what did you guys do that you can tell us about?
Maybe not for other people, but, so this is how Fairy Godmother was created.
I love the name, by the way.
Yeah. I was cooking pumpkin pie. I found this really awesome recipe that I had made the year before. Then I found it again, and I was getting ready to make it. After I put the first pie in the oven, I had the pumpkin sitting there. It was roasted. I haven't pureed anything yet, and I was too lazy to put it together into a pie. So I put it into a 1-gallon fermenter with all the spices and every ingredient, so brown sugar, honey, water, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, ginger, allspice, and all that stuff, and the roasted pumpkin. And then I put some yeast in it, and then I fermented it, and it turned out amazing. And the bigger the batch I made, the better it tasted. So I tried a 5-gallon, then a 50, and now I'm doing it in 220-gallon fermenters, and it just gets smoother. The pumpkin comes out beautifully. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Yeah. So it was an accident.
So gonna buy some of that, man. I love pumpkin pie, and I'm one of those. Okay, dirty little secret. I'm one of those people that buys that pumpkin spice stuff that everybody teases about every fall. Everybody gets all like, oh my God, this isn't pumpkin spice, and I'm like, yeah, but I buy that stuff.
So I make my own, so I don't have to wait until fall.
Well, but when they come out with pumpkin spice flavored things. I'm one of those people that's buying that stuff. So yeah,
me too.
And that's kind of the key, though, is so a lot of these beers and stuff that don't taste good or aren't coming out right is just that it's pumpkin spiced. Whereas I use whole vanilla beans. I roast lots of pumpkins. It takes me a very long time to make it.
Oh my God! Yeah.
It's incredibly. I locally source as much as I possibly can, so it's incredibly high quality ingredients that we're using. So, and I think that's the key to making stuff taste good in all reality.
Yeah.
my favorite part about the Fairy Godmother is we get people in the tasting room all the time, and we're given the rundown of all our meads, and they're like pumpkin. They're like, I don't like pumpkin, and I'm usually like, I'll tell you what, because they don't want to taste it. I said, this